Vala Afshar is the Chief Digital Evangelist over at Salesforce. They're going to be talking about electricity and flow, the future design of a boundless and autonomous enterprise.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Vala Afshar. I'm the Chief Digital Evangelist at Salesforce. And yes, today I'm going to talk to you about electricity and flow. When I think about what will impact future economies, electricity for me, I'm thinking about artificial intelligence. And when I speak to you about flow, I think about design thinking principles based on optimizing flow and minimizing friction. This picture I have on my title slide shows light and flow, and it's a reminder of AI. This is an image that was produced by a machine learning algorithm. So even the most creative work today, we can see can be done through advancements in technology. My presentation is about movement. Nothing happens until something moves. So I want you to think about a mindset, organizational structure, and how private public sector will be shaped in the future, motivated by optimizing movement. Now, since the beginning of business, we've had silos in terms of our mindset and philosophy and structure. And silos is capturing resources, protecting resources, and trying to extract value from those resources. And every industry, in every geography, with businesses of all sizes, have been shaped by this silo mindset. And in my belief, it's this silo mentality that stunts our ability to grow as organizations and companies. Now, you represent the first example of large-scale social and cultural innovation. Göbekli Tepe, 13,000 years ago, with incredible, over 20 acres, 20 circles, 200 structures, inviting flow of communities and social activities is an incredible reminder of history of innovation. Now, when I think of an important moment in our history, I think about 28 years ago, where a particle physicist, scientist at CERN, worked on a project that ultimately led to the invention of the web, the World Wide Web. And this was 1993 in our lifetime. And this was stunning flow of technological advancements that grew, the birth of the internet era as a result of this enhancements that leveraged the internet, specifically the World Wide Web. Now, the web is an example of this incredible acceleration of advanced technologies and adoption rates. If you look at a function of time and adoption of new technologies, it's almost a vertical line that we were experiencing in our lifetime with artificial intelligence, genomics, quantum computing, big data and analytics, and so on and so forth. This pace of adoption and acceleration will only continue given the fact that most of us with our smart devices are carrying a computer in our pocket. Now, this has led to an intelligence revolution, from guided to predictive to proactive to prescriptive use of analytics. When I think about digital transformation, it's all about data maturity. How quickly can you look at data and use insights to improve decision velocity so that you can create value at the speed of need for your stakeholders? Now, of course, in the last 22 months due to the pandemic, we've also seen a success from anywhere imperative. In a light switch around February, March timeframe of last year, the world went completely decentralized, and for a long period of time, digital only. Today, we're decentralized, continue to be decentralized, and digital first as a mindset. So an incredible acceleration, in my belief, a cultural and technological acceleration of a decade is what we experienced in 2020. Now, most private public sector still continues to struggle with this challenge of digital transformation and optimizing movement. There's privacy security concerns, legacy systems, obviously data silos. An average enterprise today has over 800 enterprise applications. Only 24% of those applications are integrated. And of course, health and safety, the social distancing, the decentralization and working from home for some of us who can afford to do that has led to safety now being a brand pillar for a company. Now, we will continue to see advancements in terms of how we leverage digital to engage with our employees, customers, partners, communities. This evolution is unlike any other time in history in terms of using advanced technologies to connect. I wanted to show you what 60 seconds of the internet looks like. ultimately, what this chart shows you is that data never sleeps. It's never at rest. So when we're thinking about communicating effectively, to be relevant, to be timely, we have to recognize the world of data around us and the incredible pace of acceleration and growth in this space. This is my company. I work for a company called Salesforce. This is one day in the life of Salesforce. And what I want you to know is that we're now making almost 130 billion predictions of machine learning, and Einstein is what we call our artificial intelligence per day. Only 2 years ago, this was 8 billion. So we've grown more than an order of magnitude in just a couple of years. And I suspect if I'm in front of you next year, this is probably going to be close to 1 trillion predictions a day, in terms of how we leverage insights to communicate with our customers. Now, MIT study this year said that executives in private and public sector are looking for value from data, make smarter decisions, better understanding of customers, better products, and the lessons they're learning due to the digital transformation monsoon that we've experienced in the last 20 plus months, is we need to look at more sources of data. We need to evaluate machine learning. We need to help act on data. If you have insights, but you're not taking action in a timely manner to, again, create value at the speed of need, you're not meeting your organization's full potential. Now, when you look at companies over the last 100 years, the most valuable companies by market cap, typically, like 10 years ago, there was only one technology company amongst the top 10 most valuable companies in the world. In fact, 61% of the Fortune 500 companies have disappeared in this century, since year 2000. When you look at the most valuable companies, December of 2021, almost all but one of the top 10 are technology companies. And these technology companies are leveraging data, optimizing flow of insights, and improving decision velocity in real time. I suspect when we look at the most valuable companies in the very near future, by the end of this decade, of the most valuable top 50, I believe all will be technology companies. So we need to all think about how we leverage data to, again, improve our ability to meet our stakeholders' needs. Now, because in the past, the most valuable companies were oil companies, some would say data is oil. I believe data is like water. It's essential for life. It needs to be clean and accessible. Every company who's going to succeed in a hyper-connected, knowledge-sharing economy has to think about becoming a data company and creating a data culture. So how do we reach our full potential? I like to think about athletes, human beings who reach their full potential, because all of us need to operate in business like athletes. And we need to continuously work on our ability to grow our strength in terms of how we deliver value to our stakeholders. Now, in this next normal, decentralized, digital-first world, success is based on movement. I think about Amazon. Amazon didn't have any robots in their warehouses in 2011. They started using robots in 2012. By 2012 to 2019, they had 200,000 robots. In the last 2 years, they've added another 150,000. Right now, there's north of 350,000 robots. So the future of work and communication is going to be combined based on algorithms where machines and people coexist. So we also have to think about what that means for movement and adding value. Now, a quick biology lesson. When I think about movement and autonomy and automation, I think about you and I, human beings. We have pumps. Of course, we have a circulatory system, but we have lungs that breathe in oxygen. We have a heart, sometimes between 60 to 100 beats on average, nutrients being sent through deoxygenated blood through our arteries, deoxygenated through veins. When I think about lungs and heart, these are pumps. In business, we also have pumps. Sales, service, marketing. We capture information, analyze information, disseminate information that we think is good for the company and our communities and ecosystem. We have filters. AI is a filter in business. In our bodies, we have filters to make sure we remove waste. As organizations become more complex, I believe they start to resemble living organisms. And living organisms are flow-based. They circulate resources throughout organism and environment to live and thrive and grow. My company, I believe, has been building the world's most intelligent circulatory system to ensure information leads to improved decision velocity and action. So we'll think about how we describe healthy individuals. We talk about relationship based on flow of values, learning based on flow of knowledge. We use flow in the language to talk about a healthy individual. In business, we also have flows. We have internal flows that speak to our culture and talent and process. We have external bidirectional flows in terms of how we engage with our customers, partners, ecosystem, and communities. So flows are all around us. And we just have to make sure we don't find unnecessary ways to disrupt the flow so we can maximize the speed of value. Now, there are 7 principles of flow. I've written extensively about this, so I'm not going to go in detail, but I wanted to share what those 7 flows are and couple that with research from 2021 from marketing organizations that are responsible for communication. The first principle is connection. We have to establish trust and value in long-lasting relationships. When we look at the top challenges and priorities for marketing leaders in the world, these are the priorities in terms of improving automation and attribution, improving collaboration. In 2021, we saw challenges and opportunities and priorities that were new, speaking to a need of better connections with our stakeholders, our employees, customers, partners, and communities. Next is distribution. We talk about distributing insights in real time that's relevant, that's personalized. So it's about networks and vision. And when we talk about marketing in 2021, it was all about data. A typical marketing organization in 2021 had 10 resources that they had to look at in order to build their communication strategy. So they're looking for quality and hygiene and completeness and accessibility. And unfortunately, 1/3 of marketing organizations don't have a complete satisfied view of the data that they have from their stakeholders. Integration is key. As I mentioned, only 20% of enterprise applications are connected. So integration and having a 360 view is incredibly important. You saw integration of video, social, media, really becoming part of how we communicate during the pandemic with our stakeholders. So integration of digital assets. Autonomy. Autonomy is about automation. It's about ethics. It's about intelligence. But you can't talk about autonomy unless you talk about skills and training. There are critical skills that we need in this modern world of digital first decentralized that includes creativity, content creation, communication. And these are skills that continue to challenge businesses in terms of making sure their workforce is ready to meet your stakeholders' demands today. Mobility. Mobility is obviously, in my company, all our work can be done on a mobile device, but it's not just mobility from smart devices, it's mobility of understanding and data and analytics and insights. We see today marketeers are now speaking to ability to work from anywhere. So mobility is now extended to a boundless organization. The boundaries of your organization is no longer walls of your headquarters. It's you and I and everyone else working from home and anywhere in order to connect and add value. Continuity. This is a fast speed video of a martial artist, and you look at the continuity of flow for a master martial artist. But when you look at the micro movements of a martial artist, you realize that continuity is about delivering excellence at the micro moments, at those moments of truth, consistently in order to achieve continuity. Of course, holistic success. Holistic success is about, again, trust and well-being and experience. And that's key for organizations and individuals, holistic success. This is orthogonal to silo thinking, which is typically success about the individual versus success for the group. And you see communication organizations and marketing organizations now capturing new key performance indicators that speak to customer acquisition and retention and lifetime. It's beyond just marketing metrics. It's metrics that speak to the health of the entire organization with a holistic view on how to measure success. So silo-based versus flow-based. It's important to understand these characteristics and the juxtaposition. So you see that this is a lot about a mindset, a shift in mindset. It's about culture, it's about people, it's about process, and lastly, technology. But it's important to think about technology. My title slide was machine learning, GAN's classification, creating that beautiful Van Gogh-like drawing. This is a drawing by a person, Keegan Hall. It took him 250 hours to draw this pencil drawing. This is a pencil drawing of the famous Michael Jordan dunk. And there's beauty in this as well. So it's art and science is what will define the future. But AI will accelerate flow. Machine learning, deep learning, smart robotics, natural language processing, computer visioning. There's about 13 classes of AI sciences that will accelerate flow. The founder of my company believes AI should be a human right. That's how strongly we believe in terms of the importance of machine learning, deep learning, and AI classes of sciences. One of the most successful AI companies in the world, in my opinion, believes this is the most important thing humanity's ever worked on. So when we think about flow of talent and value and communication, we have to think about AI in the future. Another company that's an incredible AI has incredible AI achievements is Amazon. And in the shareholder letter, the founder of Amazon talks about what we do with AI behind the scenes in terms of forecasting products, recommending products. It's not just the drones and the robots and what we think about when we first think about AI, but all the algorithms behind the scenes that create this incredible magic that comes from these incredible technologies. Now, when you look at Gartner's trends for 2022 and beyond for the next 10 years, these are the strategic technology trends. And I would argue half of these trends speak to the quality of data you have and the automation of workflow that exists in your business using that data. Literally 50% of these incredible strategic trends speak to machine learning, speak to data and advanced analytics, in my opinion. When you look at McKinsey's technology trends that will shape the next decade, I would argue that 3 of the 7 technologies they reference speak to data and use of AI. And the benefits that they speak to is automation, improvement of next generation programming, and all the various touch points in the future, in the next 10 years that are going to be digitized. This is incredible, important takeaways. Now, when I look at the AI startups, companies that are working on bleeding edge technology, right now, as of December 2021, there is, across 13 categories, there's almost 4,000 companies that have raised $174 billion of investments in startups. This is a hint to me in terms of how much work is happening in this space. I recently tweeted that AI will add $16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. Elon Musk, who, as you know, is the founder of SpaceX and CEO of Tesla, responded that it's going to be much more than that and increasingly rapidly. I would suggest you listen to Elon Musk versus my tweet. And the reason I say that is when I think of autonomous vehicles, to me, that's the best example of a man-made invention of a living organisms. You have all those capturing of data and insights in real time, making life or death decisions in an incredibly autonomous way. And there's sensing, perception, decision, actuation logic that's in an autonomous vehicle. And the future of business, a boundless business, is an autonomous enterprise. Will there be a cognitive download from humans to software, hardware applications that are helping augment our ability to create value at the speed of need. Now, there are flow principles that map to those autonomous design, sensing, perception, decision-making, and specific technologies that are supporting those capabilities. So again, in the enterprise, you'll see flow principles, you'll see design principles, very much like a car, and technology to support those capabilities. Now, what companies like Tesla and autonomous vehicles had to do is they had to modify their technology stack to include existing capabilities, which is in the gray color, modified capabilities, which is in the dark blue, and then invite new capabilities like cloud computing, like Internet of Things, like a machine learning engine. So combination of these modifications, existing and new capabilities, is what allows this living organism, this autonomous vehicle and future autonomous business, exist and meet the stakeholder demands and needs. So what's the takeaway in all of this? I would say that futurist Alvin Toffler said that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And the unlearning part is hard for business, government leaders, the ability to look at things in a new way and put aside methodology and processes and systems that used to work that frankly don't work in this new future. Think about this hyper-connected, decentralized, digital-only world, and some of those constructs and the theses that we developed in the past may not be best suited for us going forward. So it's our ability to unlearn and relearn that matters most in business, in my opinion. Now, I showed you athletes, and again, living organisms, the ultimate professional athletes and Olympians. I want to share a story of the British rowing team. This 8 men in 1998 would row and always come last or not be able to place in the first, second, or third. They would lose in competitions. And there was a 2000 Sydney Olympics coming. So the captain of the team said, we have to change our habits. We have to change the way we live in order to be able to respond to the competition. So they came up with one question to guide their everyday training and habits in life. And that one question was, will it make the boat go faster? So before you skip your exercise, before you eat more than you should, before you don't sleep as much as you should, ask yourself, will it make the boat go faster? And they asked this question for 2 years every day. And in the Sydney Olympics, they won gold. The biggest influence on life is habits. So if you want better outcomes, you need to develop better habits. And habits means you have to capture new knowledge and use that knowledge to grow yourself and share and help your companies and organizations grow. So I ask you, what's the question we should be asking to improve communication, flow of talent, and an ability to create value? I suggest maybe one question that we can ask ourselves is, will it increase the flow of value? The next time you invest in technology, the next time you hire someone in your company, the next time you choose a strategic partner, ask yourself, will it increase the flow of value? If it's yes, go for it. If it's no, reflect, think about it, and continue to iterate until you can answer yes to this question. My name is Vala Afshar. I'm the Chief Digital Evangelist at Salesforce, and I thank you for your time.